Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for another Hot Toys figure review. Now, like I said in the unboxing, I've been so very excited to get this Iron Spider figure in because he looks absolutely awesome. I saw him in person at ACGHK and I was absolutely blown away with how good this figure actually looked. Now, whether or not he is as good as I thought he was, we will have to get to that in this review. But first things first, I want to give a huge shout out to Eric Lee, who got me this figure super early, day one, from Hong Kong. His link is down in the description below. He's the nicest guy you'll ever chat to, and he knows a lot about figures as well. So I'm sure you could send him a message and definitely get one of these figures for yourself. Also check out Justin's Collector Group. The link is down in the description below. It's a new Facebook group that I've started with a bunch of other people, collectors, YouTubers alike, and we're all going to come together and chat about all things figures. It's going to be a really, really great way to collaborate as well. Now, without further ado, let's get all of Iron Spider's accessories out here and take a look at everything he comes with. Now, this could take a while, guys. He comes with more than I was expecting in terms of the interchangeable heads, the eyes, the mask, the arms. He comes with a bunch of stuff, and I'm really, really impressed with them not going, oh, we'll do a deluxe release with the arms and the standard one will come without them, because I think it's very, very important to include this figure with those arms. But first things first, let's look at the paintwork on these hands. It's absolutely stunning, and I'll get as close as I can. You can see those little sort of, they almost look like Lamborghini tail lights, those little three-pointed star things there. They look really, really awesome, and you can see the repulsor painted in a metallic sort of color inside there. So I've got magnets on the brain because the head sculpts do attach with magnets, and they look really, really awesome. This is the light-up version, and you can see he's got this sort of, I don't even know how to say it, there's like a depth effect to the eyes. They sort of have more of a recessed sort of look than the standard ones, which look more sort of flat like this. I do prefer how this looks. It gives it a little bit more life, whereas these look very, very flat compared to the light-up one. And you can see the light-up section is under there, and they are all magnetic, these head sculpts, much like the DX12 or other figures like that. They just pop on with a magnet, and they are really, really awesome in that way. You don't struggle with a ball joint, and I really do like this Tom Holland head sculpt, the way it's facing forward, not off to the side like some of the other ones we've seen, and it's just as good as the Homecoming one as well. It looks really, really awesome. It is a little bit flat in terms of the expression. It's not really, a smirk would have been nice, or a little bit worse, a little bit of despair would have been nice as well. But either way, it still looks really good. And this is made out of the suit material. I'm not exactly sure why he did come with this mask, to be honest with you, because obviously in the film, this was a nanotech suit. So I don't know exactly why he would come with this, where he never actually did this in the film, but I guess it's good that he does come with it. You can see that texture is also printed onto the material, which is really awesome. And this is the same material as the suit, and it does feel pretty durable, although it does feel exactly like that Arkham Knight suit material. So do be careful, because that does crease. Now, he also does come with the standard Infinity War display base. His name's printed on the front there. Now, this is a bit of a point of contention for me. He does come with the posable sort of flight stand effect piece here, and I'm not exactly sure why. It's a little bit silly, I think, that they do give you this piece, because obviously you don't want to be posing the figure up, and in the instructions it says be careful with long periods of time as well. So it's a little bit obnoxious that they give you this, knowing full well that you probably won't be posing him up as dynamically as you would like to. He also does come with the typical sort of web pieces that you'd come to expect from Spidey. This one obviously goes in his hand. He comes with a few with these sort of extended pieces at the end there, and also a few that he can grab onto or plug into his web shooters. So that's pretty awesome to see that he comes with just the traditional webs. These are all exactly the same that we've gotten with both other releases of Spidey, and even a few of the older ones as well. And he also does come with the funnel accessory tip, which plugs on to the webs, and it creates that sort of web effect. I'm not really a big fan of those, but still good to see that they did go ahead and include that. And the final accessory, which is the most awesome one, are these ratcheted, articulated arms that go on the back of the Iron Spider, and they are absolutely glorious. I love the way these look, and there are two different versions, as you can see here. This one goes to the bottom, and this one goes to the top, as far as I'm aware, and they are labeled as well, so you do know where they go. But they are really, really well done, and there was a little bit of a question as to whether these sections should be blue or not. I think in the film they were a little bit more gold, but I'll have to go back and check the reference material and let you know, but they still look really, really good nonetheless, and the paintwork is absolutely stellar. Not much weathering. They do look very clean, but I think that's how they looked in the film. So that's about it for Spider-Man's accessories, guys. Let's get the figure himself out here and take a look at that outfit. Getting a closer look at the outfit on this figure, he looks glorious. I just love the way that he looks standing there with his metallic suit, all painted up really, really nicely. I really do love how they've actually gone ahead and done this. The only thing that I'm not really a big fan of is these back panels. I guess they kind of had to do it this way so you're easily able to take them off to plug the arms in, but still the rest of the outfit looks absolutely stunning. And I'll give you a closer look at the texture on the suit itself. And as you can see, it is a rubbery sort of material, and it is very, very similar, like I said before, to the Arkham Knight outfit. In fact, I think it's the same material, and it gives them this ability to sort of print onto the actual rubber fabric, and it looks really, really stunning. I'm not exactly sure what sort of printing techniques they've used on this, but then again, every process inside Hot Toys is an absolute mystery to us. So we'll have to just take it with a grain of salt and know that they know exactly what they're doing. But he looks really good, and I'm not exactly seeing that giraffe neck look like Xenomorph did say. I'm sort of really thinking that the neck is in proportion, and I think it does look really, really good, especially from sort of the side as well. I think you definitely don't really get too much of that giraffe neck syndrome. We'll switch out the head sculpt and see. So it's just magnetic, and you can pop it on. And yeah, the neck looks a little bit longer, but I don't think it looks too out of proportion. I think it looks really, really good, especially when you have it sort of sat down there. I'm starting to see it a little bit more from this angle, less from the side, so that's interesting. And when you switch out the light up head sculpt as well, you can see that for some reason the light up head sculpt looks a little bit bigger than the standard one, but I do like the depth in those eyes. It looks really, really good to have a little bit of depth behind the eyes, not just one flat sort of piece, which you are getting with the standard head sculpt. But still, they've done a really, really good job matching the color between the head and the rest of the outfit. It does have that printed texture. I'll bring it a little bit closer so you can see. It has that printed texture throughout the entire thing. They've done a terrific job. I've said that like literally a bunch of times now, but I'm gushing over this figure, guys. I can't help it. He's absolutely stunning. Now, in order to switch out the eyes, I think the easiest way is just to push on the corner and then they pop out. And you can see there's a little bit of a gap up in the corner there. And I think that's sort of what you're meant to be doing. And you can see that the eyes sort of allow you to create some pretty funny looking expressions. But it is definitely a little bit easier to switch out than the Homecoming suit. I know I had a hell of a lot of trouble with that suit because they didn't obviously include any magnetic sort of pieces to help you get the eyes out. So let's switch out some of his arm section. So there's a little bit of a pull tab down the bottom there, and it helps if you can sort of get a little bit of leverage from both sides. And you can match the shape of these sections here to the shape of the arms, and that way you know exactly where they're supposed to go, and then you can plug them in just like so. Now the fitment is really, really tight on these arms, but as you can see, it's going to look really, really awesome. So let's plug in the rest of the arms and we'll give you a bit of summary of what that looks like. Now, I do really like the way these arms look on the figure. They give it a little bit more life to a figure that otherwise would be pretty much, in my case at least, just standing on the shelf, just in a stock standard museum pose. These give it a little bit more of a dynamic look, and you can obviously pose these around without any fear because they're just plastic ratcheted pieces. The rest of the outfit is equally well done. It's the same sort of plasticky, rubbery material, and you can see that this is the side that they've done the stitching on. So I know a lot of people had a little bit of an issue with the Tech Suit Spidey having that janky stitching on one side. This guy's pretty much going to be the same thing because they have to slip the suit on and then sew it up on one side. And as you can see, that is the side they did choose. There's a little bit of a thread hanging out there, but that's not the end of the world. Just definitely do bear that in mind. You will see that on one side. It's not a figure defect. That's how they're all going to look. Now, in terms of the material, you can see on the pants that they are very, very tight, especially up here. I've got a tiny little crease already starting to appear. I have posed this like pretty much not at all since I got it out of the box. So do be careful with that. Now, talking about posability, I never usually go through articulation, but I do want to mention this little point of articulation here being the foot. I really love how awesome that is with that little foot pivot there. You do get that on some of the older sort of figures, I think, but we haven't seen that on any recently released figures, and I am loving that. I hope future Spider-Man figures do get that as well, because I cannot wait to get either the black suit from Far From Home or even that new suit, that new sort of tech suit with the black and red. I think that looks really, really awesome, and I think that Hot Toys can definitely look to improve on the material choices based on this figure compared to those new ones, so we can get a little bit more posing out of them. Bringing out the Tech Suit Spidey for a bit of a side-by-side comparison, you can see that the scale is pretty much the same between the two figures. The Iron Spidey has a little tiny bit more height on his side, and that could be down to the fact that he has that longer neck with the magnetic section compared to the traditional ball joint on the regular Tech Suit Spidey. Now, this is by no means the full comparison video. That is going to be coming up very soon. I'm going to get to work on that immediately following this review, so stay tuned to the channel for that. But this is just to give you a quick idea of how these two scale together. Now, this Iron Spider figure looks absolutely gorgeous, but that was never this figure's problem. The problem is with the material choice. Much like that Infinity War Captain America figure, which we just had a look at, the material choice really does limit the posability options with this figure, especially if you're kind of like me. I don't really want to have those huge unsightly creases. I know it's material, that stuff would happen in real life, but I'm not a big fan of seeing it on figures. I'd just like to have him in this standard sort of museum pose, probably with the arms, just to make it a little bit more dynamic, and that's probably going to be enough for me. But that's a real shame for those of you who I'm sure want to put him in crazy, awesome, dynamic poses. You just don't really want to be doing that with this figure, with the risk of potentially damaging it. Now, that being said, this is an amazing looking figure. Much like that Arkham Knight figure, which uses the same sort of material as this figure, it looks stunning. So just having it on your shelf should be a presence in and of itself, and it will be really, really awesome just to have there and look at as part of your Infinity War collection, as long as you don't mind it being in a more sort of static pose. So that's about it for this video, guys. Check out Eric Lee's stuff down in the description below. He's a really, really awesome dude, and he can get you these figures super early from Hong Kong, much like he did with me with Infinity War Cap, the 46 concept art version, as well as this Iron Spider figure, and all future figures I'll be getting off him as well. So check out the link down in the description below, as well as Justin's Collector Group, a really awesome place for us to come together, chat about figures, and collaborate. The link is down in the description below for that one as well as my social links where I post up what is coming next to the channel. So like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.